السلام ورحمة الله.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين ويخلف ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الهاربين نقال الظالمين صريح المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين مؤتمد المؤمنين. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرضين بأبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على
محمد طب
محمد.
القلوب ودوائها ونور أبصارها وعلى أهل بيته الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم
صل على محمد. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في محكم تنزيله: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Once again, we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for gracing and granting us with these great and wonderful moments, wonderful opportunity to observe our weekly Eid, which is Juma'a. I first admonish myself and you beloved brothers and sisters to be conscious of the teachings of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us try as much as we can to arm ourselves with the taqwa and the fear of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Quran indicates in numerous verses and in all the traditions of our beloved Prophet and Ahlul Bayt regarding the importance and the significance of taqwa. Because taqwa will matter on your last days and your last nights and the last moment that one will spend in this world, whereby Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in Quran said, what matters is the ending, but the ending does not belong to anyone, the ending belongs only to muttaqeen. Therefore Allah says in Quran, وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Ending is only for God-fearing people. It's only for those who are conscious of the teachings of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, inshallah, in our sermon, we're going to focus more on the philosophy of the Hajj of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. In other words, we're going to table and discuss the Abrahamite way of Hajj, which is the type and the kind of Hajj required by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and required through the teachings of Ahlul Bayt for each and every one of us who is aspiring to visit the holy house of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you recall very well, last week in my second sermon, I dedicated it on the question of who is capable to perform a Hajj and who is not capable to undertake Hajj. And we dwell on that to such an extent. We discussed about the question of Hajjul Badal or Hajjul Niyabi, when someone has to perform a Hajj on behalf of a late or someone who has departed from this world. Today, we will look at what type of Hajj are we required to undertake. The question is not about performing and going to the holy house of Allah. It's about how you go to the house of Allah. It's about how you perform your Hajj. It's about this aspiration which you have to go to the house of Allah. When Allah grants you the success to visit that house, how do you go there? And you know, without a shadow of doubt, Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam urge me and you now and then in our lives to continue asking Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us the visitation to his holy house. We have in many of our du'as, especially the dua of Ramadan, Ramadan being a very, very important and spiritual month, and very, very high month in the eye of Allah. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, through the teachings of his Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, taught us that most of the du'as you do in Ramadan, you should ask Allah to bless you with Hajj. To that extent that we are told, even if you have performed the Hajj many times in your life, never allow a year to pass without asking Allah to bless you and grant you the visitation of his holy house. Yes, Hajjul Islam or Hajjatul Islam, which you all know, is once wajib and obligatory upon each and every Muslim who is capable, as we explained last week. But still, mustahabbat of Hajj is also highly recommended through the teachings of Islam. So therefore, the verse in question for today's sermon is chapter 3, Al-Imran, verse 93, where Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala focus more on the importance and the significance of Hajj. وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. When you look at this verse, brothers and sisters, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala sensitizes me and you on Hajj being one of Islamic obligation. That if you are capable, do not hesitate to undertake such a journey. But today what I want to do is to go deeper in depth, to look at the main philosophy of Hajj. Why do we have to go for Hajj? And what is expected from you and me after Hajj? That is the most important thing. Therefore we call it the philosophy of Abrahamite Hajj. Why? Because whatever you do in Mecca, and whatever you do in Mina, and whatever you do in Mash'ar al-Haram, Muzdalifah, and whatever you do in Arafah, these are all the actions of Ibrahim, Ismail, and Hajara alayhi salatu wassalam. So therefore scholars call Hajj Ibrahim. The Hajj is the Hajj of Ibrahim. Now let us go into our discourse. When you look at the Hajj, like any other act of worship and ibadah in Islam, it is of different dimensions, it is of different faculties, it is of different facets. And whoever wants to make or undertake that particular ibadah, you should not only focus on one philosophy, which is happening today, of course, in most of our ibadah. We are focusing only on one philosophy. Islam doesn't want me and you to focus, even in Salah, on only one philosophy. Islam wants us to focus on each and every philosophy which Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, when He ordained this particular type of worship, wants each and every one of us to achieve. And I want you to focus and listen very, very carefully, brothers and sisters. Hajj is at least of three main philosophy, if not more. One of them we all know, without a shadow of doubt, like any other ibadah, spiritual philosophy. I want to be spiritual elevated. I want to nourish myself spiritually. I want to gain proximity. That is normal. Everybody we know. That is number one. Number two, Hajj is a social form of worship, where there are a lot of social things which me and you have to or must achieve when we undertake such a journey towards the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, the other very, very important which I want to focus today, Hajj is a political form of worship. Therefore, when you look at the Hajj from one dimension and from one corner, it is spiritual, political form of ibadah. In other words, when you look at the ibadah of Hajj, you see the remnants and the effects of politics. And when you look at the politics aspect of Hajj, which I will explain has to do more with leadership, you will see the remnants and the effect of things. The first one, you see the manifestation of divine beauty, and the second one, you will see the manifestation of divine glory. What do I mean by this? Because we all know when we discuss about Allah's attribute in theology, we talk about the attribute of glory and the attribute of beauty. The same thing, Allah, when you study Hajj properly, there are two major manifestations that you see. The manifestation of glory and the manifestation of beauty. To make it very easy and simple, what do we mean by divine manifestation of beauty and divine manifestation of glory of Hajj? In simple terms, which all of us are familiar with, not philosophical, not theological, very simple term, Hajj, when we discuss of its spiritual, political dimension, you are talking of tawalli and tabarri. And we have many riwayah from Ahlul Bayt. The divine beauty of a Hajj is tawalli, and the divine glory of a Hajj is tabarri. So therefore, me and you who go for Hajj, or who are aspiring to undertake such journey, it is not only about spiritual worship, it is also about the political dimension of Hajj, whereby we want to see tawalli, paying that allegiance, and strengthening the allegiance, and staying away from what is not associated or related to the allegiance that you are paying. Therefore, Riwayah said, the tawalli of a Hajj is the divine beauty of Hajj, and the tabarri of a Hajj is the divine glory of Hajj. Now come with me to the Riwayah, which is received from Mawlai Kainat Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. This Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen said, Ziyaratu Baytillahi al-Haram amnun min adhab Jahannam. Imam said, visitation to the holy house of Allah, it grants you amnesty and protection from the severe chastisements of Jahannam. Imam didn't say something like that if the philosophy is not that high. Philosophy of a Hajj is very, very high. It's very strong, as I will demonstrate for you today in my khutbah. Therefore, Imam said, visiting that place give you permission to enter the Jannah of Allah without any hisab and without any judgment. Therefore, it is for those who acknowledge the main philosophy of Hajj. Now, if our Muslims are that, Hajj is not a big deal. Wallah, it is the biggest deal in Islam. No, when I get time, I will go. It is the biggest deal in Islam because the reward that Hajj can grant you, you can hardly find it in the worship of 1 year. Therefore, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, in a riwayah reported from Rasulullah, and of course from Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, that the Hajj is pivotal for humility, humbleness, and amnesty. Yani, whoever wants to be humble, whoever wants to obtain humility, the best place to get that lesson, it's a social lesson and political at the same time, is through Hajj. What does Imam say? جعله الله سبحانه وتعالى علامة لتواضعه. Allah made Hajj a sign for their humility and humbleness. It is a place, a platform where your humbleness and humility, where your temper will be tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Imam in the riwayah he said, وَلِعَظَمَتِهِ وَلِإِذْعَانِهِمْ لِعِزَّتِهِ. It is a place to test your relationship with Allah and how you perceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your life. So therefore, we ever goes for Hajj, these are some of the things that we have to be reflecting and pondering and thinking whenever we undertake such a journey towards the house of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look at what Imam said. واختار من خلقه صماعا وأجابوا إليه دعوته ووقفوا مواقف الأنبياء وتشبهوا بالملائكة المؤتفين بعرشه. He said, because these people who go for Hajj, number one, they have responded positively to the invitation of Allah. That's number one. Number two, they are going to stand in those positions where all the prophets of Allah stood. And number three, they are going to be like the angels of Allah who are making the tawaf of the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you are told the angels in Bayt al-Ma'mur, every day they make tawaf of the arsh of Allah. So whoever goes for Hajj, he is also doing the work and the deeds of the angels of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore now, when you go deeper into Islam and the history of each and every prophet, you realize that Allah, how amazing it is. He reminds each and every prophet in one way or the other, directly or indirectly, of the importance and the significance of Hajj. To tell you that Hajj is not a joke. Hajj is not something that should be undermined. It should be viewed with a different and unique viewing altogether. I begin with you with the transaction that took place between Musa and Shu'aib alayhi salam. Musa eventually became the in-law of Shu'aib. But there was a transaction that took place between both of them. When Shu'aib wanted to task Musa, is the riwayah. You know, how was the article of the transaction or the clauses, as you mentioned, of the contract? Shu'aib said to Musa, Ala an ta'jurani thamaniya hijaj. You, Musa, I want you see, Shu'aib didn't say to Musa, I want you to be of my service for 8 years. No. I want you to work for me for 8 years. No. I hope you are listening very carefully, brothers and sisters. Shu'aib is not saying, Musa, I want you to become my servant for... No. Look at the word. He said, you Shu'aib, Musa, I want you to rent me your service for 8 Hajj. Samani Hijjaj, for 8 Hajj. Here there are so many discussions. I don't want to bombard you from the scholars when it comes to only this line, wallahi. But the simple thing is that, look, Musa worked for Shu'aib at one stage. But now why Shu'aib now is using the term Hajj? Riwayah said Allah revealed unto Shu'aib like the way he revealed unto previous prophet before the coming of Shu'aib concerning the important, because Hajj comes once a year. So if he said 8 Hajj, it means I want you to work for me for 80 years. But your scholars said you want to make sure the question of Hajj back and forth come into their mind. They should not forget, because Hajj is what will determine the fate of Muslim Ummah. Now the same thing comes to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. When Allah invited Musa to him, for Musa to come for his spiritual journey, so that Musa would go back and teach his people. What does Quran say? وَوَعَدْنَا مُوسَى 30 لَيْلَةً. There are 2 versions. The first one, 30 لَيْلَةً وَأَتْمَمْنَاهَا بِعَشْرٍ فَتَمَّ مِيقَاتِ رَبِّهِ 40 لَيْلَةً. One version said 40 straight away, and the other version said no. We called Musa and invited Musa for a period of 30 nights. Then after that we added 10 nights. Now my point is here, brothers and sisters, to see how important Hajj is. This journey started on the 1st of Zilqa'dah and ended on the 10th of Zilhijjah. So by now Musa was in that spiritual journey. Turi Sinai. It ended on the 10th of Zilhijjah. It is not by chance. Allah is trying to say Musa, Shu'aib, Ibrahim, Harun. No. There is one particular thing which determines the fate of the Ummah, irrespective of whose Ummah it is. but most especially the ummah of my last prophet. That is the question of Hajj and how the ummah will determine to achieve the main philosophy of Hajj. Today Hajj is part of that philosophy, which I'm landing now. It's hinting Allah wa ta'ala when he speaks to Musa about the Torah, the Old Testament of today. What does Allah say to Musa? وَلَكَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَلَكَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مُوسَى آيَاتِنَا أَنْ أَخْرُجَ قَوْمَكَ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ وَذَكِّرْهُم بِأَيَّامِ اللَّهِ. Allahu Akbar. Allah is reminding Musa of Torah and what Torah is all about. But in that ayah, when you go deeper into Quran, Allah said, Musa, remind them of those days of Allah. What are days of Allah? First 10 days and night of the Hijjah. These are the days of Allah. Musa is not the Ummah of Rasulullah. But what Allah is reminding them, reminding your people, وَذَكِّرْهِمْ بِأَيَّامِ اللَّهِ, because the amal and the ibadah of the first 10 days of the Hijjah is so valuable and higher in the eye of Allah than the ibadah of a mujahid fi sabilillah. No doubt about it. It's higher in the eye of Allah than who is a mujahid. Different between mujahid and shaheeda. Because every shaheed is mujahid, but not every mujahid is shaheed. Now, Musa, Allah. Now come to our beloved prophets. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Rasulullah, in most of his teachings, emphasize and tap on the importance of Hajj. What was ma min ayyamin azka wa afdal min khairin min ashar al-adha. So that there are no days that are pure and higher than the first 10 days of the Zil-Hijjah. And another riwayah which Mirza Jawad Malki Tabrizi, one of our great scholars, he said, Allah mentioned, مَا مِنْ أَيَّامٍ عَمَلَ الصَّالِحَ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ فِي عَشْرِ الْحِجَّةِ. There is no days of good deeds and action much loved by Allah than the days and the deeds of the first 10 days of the Hijjah. And in all this riwayah, you realize that companions asked Prophet immediately after that. Even better than someone who's a mujahid, Rasulullah said, except only that mujahid who, when he was going for jihad, he took his wealth and life and he said, no, whether I come back or I don't come back, no problem. It is in the way of Allah. And when he goes there, he doesn't come back. So it is only that person who is a'mal is higher than the one who is in the a'mal of the Hijjah in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Therefore you realize, of course, someone who's shaheed, even the time he became shaheed and the place he obtained the shahada, because of his value in the eye of Allah, the timing is also blessed and the place is also blessed. Look at the equation. We have Sobra, we have Cobra, we have Natija. First equation, second equation, and the result. What is the equation? Allah mentioned, we recite in Ziyaratul Waritha, Tibtum وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم. يعني شهيد, of course, is higher. Because وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم. يعني even a place where you are buried, that place has to rejoice because it's blessed because of your blood. This is Sugra. This is the first equation. What is the highest equation? Allah said, وَالْبَلَدُ الطَّيِّبُ يَخْرُجُ نَبَاتُهُ. A good place and a good land, his fruit comes out now and then through the blessings of Allah. So therefore, the position of shaheed is higher. We don't compare. But now this is why whoever is a mujahid in the way of Allah, whatever the type of jihad you are doing in the way of Allah, trying to get closer to Allah, trying to defend the religion of Allah, trying to make sure the goes to Muzdalifah, that person is higher and valuable in the eye of Allah than whoever can claim to be mujahid fi sabilillah. Now question is the last point. Why so much importance and emphasis on Hajj and Zulhijjah? Reasons. One, the whole Kaaba, the building happened in the month of Zulhijjah. The whole building you see, it happened. And of course, you know the Dua al-Ard also, which is happening on the 25th of Zulhijjah. It happened in the month, so the month of Hajj is very, very important. Number two, that is my main point. Allahu Akbar. For me and you to understand the Hajj completely. Surah Al-Bara'ah. Bara'atun min Allahi wa Rasulih. When Rasulullah gave it to Imam Amir to go and open Khaybar, the revelation of a Bara'ah, that is the main philosophy of Hajj. Spiritual, political. We need to understand that. Bara'atun min Allah. But there is a verse in Quran. Allah said, وَأَذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِلَى النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ أَنَّ اللَّهَ بَرِيءٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Allahu Akbar. In chapter Bara'ah, when Allah revealed this verse and Khaybar was opened in the hand of Mulai Kainat, it happened in the month of Hajj. Allah said, وَأَذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. It is a permission from Allah and His Rasulullah. And Allah بَرِيءٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Allah is far away and free from mushrikeen politics. But Allah said, يَوْمُ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ. It was revealed on the day of the greatest Hajj. That is this Hajj al-Islam which we are going on. Now the point is here. The main philosophy of Hajj, brothers and sisters, is tawalli and tabarri. When you come back from there, how is your wilaya, your relationship with Ahlul Bayt? How is it? Are you determined to follow them toe to toe, step by step, inch by inch? How? Bara'ah is the main philosophy of Hajj, brothers and sisters. Wa'illa, if not, Kaaba, as Imam Bakr al-Salam mentioned, he said, Kaaba, the way we make tawaf today, this according to our fifth Imam. People in the time of Jahiliyyah also used to make tawaf 7 times of Hajj. Imam said, if that is the philosophy, you go there, you make only 7 tawaf and you are excited, then what is the difference between the people of Jahiliyyah? But look at the riwayah of Imam, amazing riwayah. Imam said, أُمِرُوا أَنْ يَتُوفُوا بِهَا ثُمَّ يُنَفِّرُوا أَوْ يَنْفِرُوا إِلَيْنَا بِوِلَايَتِهِمْ وَمَوَدَّتِهِمْ ثُمَّ يَعَرِّضُوا عَلَيْنَا نُصْرَتَهُمْ. Imam said, yes, they are urged and told to go and make tawaf of that place. But Imam Bakr said, that tawaf is not the main significance. There is something you have to achieve behind the tawaf. What is that? Imam said, then after your tawaf, يَنْفُرُوا إِلَيْنَا بِوِلَايَتِهِمْ وَمَوَدَّتِهِمْ. So that when they come back after tawaf, they come back home, they go back to their hotel, what do? They show us more wilaya and love. Then Imam never stopped there. ثُمَّ يُعَرِّضُوا عَلَيْنَا نُصْرَتَهُمْ. Then after that, they will show more support to us and in our affairs and happiness. So therefore, main philosophy of a Hajj, Ibadah on his place, that political leadership. Your love for Ahlul Bayt must increase after Hajj. You have to follow them, their form of Ibadah, their form of talking, the way they used to do things, the humility, the humbleness, it has to follow. Or else you will lose the essence of Hajj. Look at Mulai Kainat. Mulai Kainat said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اِحْتَبَرَ الْأَوَّلِينَ مِنْ لَدُنْ آدَمَ إِلَى الْآخِرِينَ مِنْ أَهْلِ هَذَا الْعَالَمِ بِأَحْجَارٍ لَا يَضُرُّ وَلَا يَنْفَعُ ولا يبصر ولا يسمع فجعله قياما للناس. الله أكبر. Imam al-Mu'minin said, Allah examined the Ummah right from those in the time of Adam, from the beginning, and those in our time. What is the examination? Imam Ali said, with a stone that cannot benefit and that cannot harm, that cannot hear and listen, and that cannot see. But look at Imam Ali said then, Allah made this stone qiyaman linnas, for people to be steadfast and united and strong. So therefore when we know that it is the epitome of Tawheed, it is the epitome of Nubuwwah, it is the epitome of Wilayah. Hajj is not about only you go, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik Yugamba, Masha Allah, I prefer la 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 la. Hajj Ibrahimi, one, first for unity to happen wherever you are. Two, let your wilayah, your love for Allah to reach that peak. Three, your tawheed, love for Allah. Be conscious about it, be conscious about the plight of the Ummah. Then you will be told, Hada Hajjum Makbul. But if your Hajj is only show off, or to go ibadah, then you don't achieve the success. Therefore Imam Bakr said, Inna min tamamil hajj lika'ul hujjah. Imam Bakr said, among the perfection and the completion of Hajj is to meet the hujjah. Like we are told in Ramadan, for your fast to be accepted, Zakatul Fitr must be blessed. Min tamam al-sawm, hada Zakatul Fitr. The same thing Imam Bakr said, Inna min tamam al-hajj lika'ul hujjah. For your Hajj to be complete is the meeting of the hujjah. So now Hajj is not Hajj without proper leadership. Hajj is not Hajj without looking at your wilayah for Ahlul Bayt. Hajj is not Hajj without looking at your leadership. Hajj is not Hajj if you don't bother about meeting Imam, either spiritual, psychological, physical or otherwise. Because you may not meet Imam physical. But if you get overwhelmed by the presence of the Imam, that Imam will be there, and my allegiance is with Imam, and I want after this Hajj, if they say Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, he will perform namaz the whole night. I don't want to get there because I'm not like Imam, but I want to emulate a little bit of the life of Imam. If we say Imam Bakr or Imam Zayn al-Abidin would carry a lot of food to people and distribute at night without no one getting to know, after my Hajj I want to replicate it in my life. This is what we call Hajj. If Rasulullah, when he arrived in Medina, he managed to reconcile between House and Azraq, who were in loggerheads for more than 100 years, 200, 300 years, when I go back from my Hajj, I want to ensure that I dissociate myself from this unity. That is what we call Hajj Ibrahimi. It is the Hajj of Tawalli and the Hajj of Tabarri. Tabarri min ash-shirk wal mushrikeen and Tawalli billahi wa awliya'illah. It is to make Tabarri from shirk and mushrikeen, and of course to pay my allegiance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of course to awliyaullah who are Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam. Therefore we ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to strengthen our iman and make it easy for us, inshallah. We ask Allah azza wa jal, those of us who are going for Hajj, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to undertake the Hajj of Ibrahim, inshallah. We ask Allah azza wa jal subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who have not yet performed Hajj in their life, may Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala grant them this opportunity to undertake the Hajj at least once in their lifetime, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Inna shani'aka huwal abtar. الذي علا في توحده ودنا في تفرده وجل في سلطانه وعظم في أركانه، الذي لا يضربه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفطن، الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نحت موجود، فطر الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته ووتد بالصخور ميدان عرضه، ثم الصلاة وأتم التسليم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل وسلم على علي أمير المؤمنين محمد، وعلى الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، سيدي شباب أهل الجنة محمد، وعلى علي بن الحسين زين العابدين محمد، ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن القائم المنتظر المهدي أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وسهل الله مخرجه. صلى الله عليهم أجمعين أئمة الهدى الأبرار، بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى يوم القيامة. In my second sermon, I first admonish myself and you beloved brothers and sisters to be conscious of the teachings of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let us try as much as we can in our own small way to arm ourselves with the taqwa of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah mentioned, ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Indeed, without a shadow of doubt, we are in the holy month of Hajj. Hujjat have already started arriving in the holy city of Medina, in the holy city of Makkah al-Mukarramah. And this is the time in the world when the leaders of the world are expected to make good use of Hajj to bring peace and tranquility and harmony that the Muslims and entire Ummah of the world are aspiring to achieve in the world. As we mentioned in my first sermon, the Hajj of Ibrahimi is not that type of Hajj where you only go to worship and come back. It is the Hajj which when you go, you are not only representing yourself, but number one, you are representing your family, you are representing your community, you are representing your society. Therefore, when Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in glorious Quran mentioned, let some of them go out of their countries, لِيَتَفَقَّهُوا فِي الدِّينِ وَلْيُنذِرُوا قَوْمَهُمْ إِذَا رَجَعُوا إِلَيْهِمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَحْذَرُونَ. Let some of them go out so that they will acquire the understanding of their religion. When they get back home after acquiring the understanding of their religion, لِيَتَفَقَّهُوا وَلْيُنذِرُوا قَوْمَهُمْ, so that they will admonish their people, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَحْذَرُونَ, so that people will take admonition and they will reflect and take heed. Some of the riwayah we have a very clear from Imams alayhi salatu wasalam, especially our Sif Imam. He was asked what is the ta'wil in one of the angle of this particular verse. Imam said this is referring to those who go to Hajj. When they go to Hajj, they are going to acquire the understanding. They are going to learn different cultures. They are going to learn different way of doing things from different people. People from Asia, people from Europe, people from America. They are going to learn. Those people, when they were confronted with challenges and difficulties in their own backyard, how did they attend to it? Why can't I take it back home and use it in my own community for the solution of the problems I may face or we may face? So therefore, Hajj Ibrahimi, it is this type of Hajj where everyone is not only thinking of him or herself, but you are thinking about the plight of Ummah. In your own small way, you can do something. Therefore, I urge you and one more, those of us who are capable, and Allah has blessed us with wealth, we should try, keep on, try. If we go for Hajj, fine. Help those also who have never been there to achieve this goal of their life. If you are capable and you know you are rich and you can also sponsor someone, why not? When Hajj comes, sponsor, because you have a lot of reward by sponsoring someone. The person will get his Hajj, no doubt, but you will also be given the reward of Hajj. One riwayah said you'll be given the reward of Umrah. One had said Umratul Mufrada, Umratul Tamattu. Al-Muhim, let's try as much as we can. Then Allah bless us, we support. And last but not least, we see the difficulties we are faced today in the world. This challenge of these ISIS, those who call themselves trying to establish a Khalifa kind of system, Islamic State. This is the right time when the Islamic leadership are going to meet in Mecca. We, of course, we are small. We can do our little only in our own backyard, in our own homes. But you have all the Islamic leadership, all the Islamic countries will be represented in Hajj. Really, if the Hajj is to be the Hajj of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Muslim Ummah will start thinking how to deal with this barbaric and shaitanic organization that call themselves ISIS. When you listen to some of the political analysts, they are trying to make it Sunni Shia issue. But this thing has nothing to do with Sunni and it has nothing to do with Shia. If you call them Sunni, then you have given them credit. This ISIS, personally, I don't regard them Muslims completely. They are totally out of Islam. So therefore we cannot say Sunni organization. These are not Sunni. We are all united. We will all be in Makkah in our kafan, chanting the same wording, facing the same direction, going to the same Muzdalifah, going to the same Mina, saying Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, Labbaik la sharika laka Labbaik, Innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. Yes, ideological differences are there, but that's not a big deal. The bigger picture is the most important thing. Today, Muslims, we have one common enemy, and that enemy is ISIS. They are denting the name of Islam. They are denting the image of Islam. They are misrepresenting this beautiful religion of peace. So therefore, this has nothing to do with Sunnis. Those ISIS are not Sunni. They are kuffar. Kuffar is even better than the misunderstanding when they say kuffar. There is no word to describe these people. And we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to bring the heart of the world leaders completely, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, come together and encounter these people, inshallah. We ask Allah because they are there in Syria and they are there in Iraq and they are causing havoc day in, day out. Our dua is to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We imagine if the Hajj of these 3 million Muslims or 2.5 million Muslims through their leadership will be the Hajj of Ibrahim, which I explained, Tawalli and Tabarri. So ISIS will be nothing. Because now you know my leader. My leader is the grandson of Abba Abdullah Hussein. So therefore, corruption has to be rooted out. Injustice has to be rooted out. Kamari, Kamsha. Whoever is causing the injustice, it has to be rooted out. Whether Muslim or non-Muslim, injustice is injustice. So therefore, if the Hajj really is the Hajj of Tawalli and Tabarri, the Hajj of strengthening your wilayah, the Hajj of strengthening the leadership, and definitely all these problems. Inshallah, alaysa subhu bi kareem, Quran mentioned. It's morning, not near. Morning is very near. Now we're going to sleep and we'll wake up for Fajr namaz, isn't it? So morning, Quran mentioned, alaysa subhu, is morning not near? Wallah, the victory is inevitable and it is on the way. Muslim Ummah, inshallah, one day before the coming of Imam or during the coming of Imam, we will be united against the kufr and mushrikeen and against the enemies of humanity. Whether they are in Iraq, whether they are in Syria, or wherever they find themselves, we are very, very optimistic that the world will not continue to suffer. There will be some sort of relief coming to the people of the world. So therefore we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to expose these people, inshallah. We ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, this ISIS, Islamic State, which is in Syria, some part of it, and which is in some part of Iraq. Ya Allah, we ask you, we are your slaves and we are your servants. We do not have any plan, we do not have any trick, we do not have any power. All the powers lie in your hand, Allah, and you are the absolute powerful. Allah, we ask you through your kun fayakun, expose and frustrate this organization, inshallah. whoever might be the leadership of this organization, and wherever they may find themselves in the corner of the world, be it in Europe, be it in America, be it in Asia, be it in Africa, wherever this organization will find themselves, they are not condoned Islamically. And our scholars are very clear about this point. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to expose them, inshallah. And those who are coming together with sincerity to fight these people with sincerity, may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala strengthen them to be able to overcome them, inshallah. And the difficulties that we are facing in Africa with this Ebola, in Sierra Leone, in Guinea-Conakry, in Nigeria, in West Africa, we ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to send solution, inshallah. Our great scholars, our Maraji, may Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala keep on strengthening them to be at the service of Islam, inshallah. Sayyid Ali Khamenei was not been well for the past few days, but alhamdulillah, he has recovered. May Allah continue to give them strong, make them strong and healthy, inshallah. May Allah bring all the Muslim Ummah together, inshallah. Irrespective of our sect, irrespective of where we belong to, we ask Allah, Isa'ib al-Asr wa Zaman, bring us together, inshallah. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi, ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا احد سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.